All right. Welcome, everybody, to the reading of the Daily Meditations with Native American Elders with the White Eagle Talking Circle. We're going to provide a reflections today. For today's reading, my name is Josiah and I'm an addict. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Amanda. I'm an addict alcoholic.
My name is Jason. I am an addict.
Thank you guys for joining me today. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, for sure. All right, so all right. So before we do anything, before we proceed, I'd like to offer up a prayer for us and all our viewers out there. So I got smudge lit and just join me in prayer. Creator God, Father God, we pray for all our brothers and sisters on the red road, those that have gone back out and those still caught up in their addiction. I pray that we all find our way to the red road and continue walking the red road. In your name we pray. So jump right into the reading with the Native Fall Meditations with Native American Elders, December 12th. In order for our children to survive in the world, they need a firm understanding and belief in the basic principles of sharing freedom and respect of individuality. Haida Gwaii, traditional circle of elders. There's a saying, tell me, I'll forget, show me, I'll remember, engage me, I'll understand. The adults need to determine what the younger generation is to learn. The principle of sharing keeps the youth from being greedy and selfish. The principle of freedom teaches the youth about choice, decision, and consequences. The principle of respect keeps us from playing God, becoming a controller of all things. We need to learn these lessons so we may demonstrate them for our children. Great teacher, help me to understand your principles. And I know for me, what really stuck out with the reading is it's just that like those teachings, our teachings from our ancestors, even as basic as using sign language. I know I've been really pushing that with my kids. The Plains Indian Sign Language, how our ancestors used to communicate through sign language. So really pushing that piece with my kids and using it around the house, because that's like something from our ancestors, that they use on a daily basis, and trying to incorporate that now. And just kind of seeing the shift in them, to like culture, and they're kind of asking more questions about our tribe and where we came from, what happened back then, how they used to live. And that was pretty cool to me, to like just to learn, to be pushing that plain sign language with my kids and seeing it kind of spark an interest with them. It's like, wow, they used this way back then. The other part of the reading that really stuck out for me was that, tell me, I'll forget, show me, I'll remember, but engage me and I'll understand. And I use that a lot, especially like with Wellbriety teachings, the principles that are in the book and the daily meditations. I try to implement them every day. I try to use them for like today's reading, learning about choice of decision and consequences. So I'll be thinking about that the rest of the day, how that plays out. And one big thing that when I got to the red road, that was kind of profound, kind of huge, was that consequences are not good or bad. They're just the results of your decisions. And I was just kind of thinking about that. That was huge to me, especially early on in recovery. Because like I always thought consequences were like negative, like bad, all the time. When I heard consequences, I always went negative. I always thought bad things. So to learn that consequences are just the results of my actions. I was just kind of, oh, okay. Okay. So then that I was so negative inside in my own thinking about myself and about other things outside of myself. I was so negative. That kind of helped, that really helped me actually to put some more positive light on things and people and places and stuff. So anyway, I'll stop there and I'll pass the mic to whoever's ready. Who's ready to go?
I am.
Okay, go.
I'm Amanda. I really like this reading because it talks about our children, and it's a big part of my life. This right here is my son, Rial. Rial is kind of tired. Say hi. Hi. So Rial, that's also his dance suit behind us here. I guess walking the red road has really, opened up a lot of opportunity for me to really look at what I'm teaching my children. My children know how to smudge. They know what it is. My son's got long hair, and I braid it every day. And I tell him, who he is, what tribes he is, and how significant it is. The power of prayer is the biggest thing that I try to teach my kids, and in their language. And with Rial, he what I'm teaching, the main thing is his biggest question lately has been, like his hair. I haven't cut it since I was a baby. And we're in a time now that, we never used to be able to keep our hair, or at least the men, so he's really learning a lot about his culture and things. And that's like huge to me as a mom, because we're still here. And also the power of prayer, like I said, my kids know a lot that I'm able to teach them. So as far as like consequence and sharing and things like that, he knows that he has a little sister, and he's got older siblings, and he knows that he's a protector, and a protector of people, I guess. Do you want to say anything, son, about anything that was being said? Say hello. Hello. Want to teach them anything about what you know? No? All right. That's all I got, guys.
Who?
I'm JC. I'm in recovery. Um, yeah. At first, I didn't really know like what to think about all that reading, because it seemed, it was one of those short and simple ones. But then I got to thinking, and then I got to listening to you guys, and the thing that popped up is, growing up, I was always around. I was around elders and my parents, and people that would showed me and taught me how to dance and to smudge and to um, about certain ceremonies and things like that. But when I was drinking and using, the things that I did there, I didn't learn that from my elders. I didn't learn that from people that were, uh, my caretakers and whatnot, my teachers. I learned that from my peers, and a lot of them were older peers too. Because I hung out with generally older people at first, and so I think with that, it we can say and do whatever we want at home, but if we don't really hammer in the fact that or the importance of it, I guess, or I don't know what the word is I'm trying to say, is that to help our children avoid that mistake that I made. You know, after they leave the house, 'cause we can't keep them sheltered forever. They have to go out and they have to live their lives, right? But when they go out there, they're gonna run into these things, and they're gonna run into people who are gonna say, "Yeah, this is the way to do it," even though it's not. Um, so I think instilling individuality, responsibility, accountability for oneself at an early age, I think that is the best that we can do. And also, you know, for me to now, for me to use my negative experiences, and telling them what, telling the younger generation, this is what it is, you know, jails and prisons and near-death experiences, um, not to glorify some kind of lifestyle that just isn't reality for our people. Um, we can put on social media, we can put on pop culture, we can put on all these other things, but that glorify a party lifestyle, and people are having fun and going to these cool places and dancing and getting the girls and driving nice cars, and you know but man, it ain't even like that at all. um, you get caught up in that drugs and alcohol, and you're in a room by yourself in the middle of the night, dry heaving, scared to open the door. That's the reality of it. Either that, or you're locked up by yourself for 11 months at a time. That's the reality of it. So, well, I absolutely, I always taught my kids know how to smudge. They've danced, um, they've done all those things, but if they don't know the actual consequences, like those I already said. When we say consequences, we think of a negative thing, and maybe that's not even the right word. It's just like the results, like you said. But the result of positive things, positive action, is going to be positive consequences. The result of negative action is going to be negative consequences. And so, the one thing that I always want to share with people, and it doesn't matter how old you are, or whatever, if you keep going down that path, something bad is going to happen. And I don't want that, not for me, not for you, not for anybody. And if you've already been down that path, then you can come back from it. But for our younger generation, we have to stop that cycle of incarceration, suicide, depression, all these things that keep perpetuating our youth. So, um, I don't know if you got anything out of that. I started on a, I started on a trail and I veered off as usual, but I better end that now. So, yeah, thanks for listening. That's all I got.
Who? Well, thank you, JC, for providing your reflection on today's reading. There's something that you said about that was kind of stuck out for me. And I had to do with this, like that consequences and like, oh, what is it? I can't think of it right now. But anyway, it was good. And I think Amanda had to jump off. So thank you guys for joining me today. Today's reading is like, yeah, it's good. And I think that today's reading highlighted for me what I was taught growing up. I'm implementing it now with cultural teachings, with tribal teachings and stuff. So with that in mind, I look to my kids and I work with youth. And so I'm trying to get these teachings out there. And, it's a journey. I mean, it has its good and its bad. Trying to get this information out. is what I'm talking about, not the teachings themselves, but just that inner struggle, trying to, oh, I found something that's good. I want everybody to know it. And not everybody's ready for it. So this is kind of like my own struggle. But I gotta go in stride, keep relying on Creator God, Body, deal my higher power, and just keep taking it one day at a time. So yeah, good. Thank you for joining me today, Mr. Beaumont. And we'll see you next week, next Sunday. Get your Christmas shopping done. We'll see you. Oh, and we'll close with the silent proclamation. I almost closed out without the silent proclamation. To walk the red road is to offer up a silent proclamation. Here the destruction stops. We will heal ourselves. We will heal our wounded relationships. We will heal our children. We will heal our nation. On this day, our future history begins. Ahoo!